So, hi everyone. I'm happy to welcome you to our event tonight. And my name is Yuri. I'm Let's Not founder and Moonbeam Senior Ambassador. And our team is hosting today in AMA with a guest, Katie from Moonbeam today. Everyone in the community knows and loves her. Hi, Katie. Could,
Hi.
could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So first, thank you so much for having me here. I was so excited when you extended the invite, and I think like this is another opportunity to talk with the ambassadors, but also like more members of the community. And nothing like very happy and honored to be a guest.
Awesome, awesome. And today we're gonna talk about Moonbeam project itself, Crowdloan, ambassador program, partnerships and future plans. Our team collected many interesting questions from different communities, and we hope they won't be boring for you. So, question number one, Katie, what is Moonbeam? Wahoo, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So Moonbeam is a smart contract platform that it has like a very strong, I would say, like the most powerful Ethereum compatibility, at least in Polkadot in Kusama. And I think like it's already doing like great things, but pretty much like for people who is new to the community, I like to use this analogy that there uses a lot, but it's like, for example, in the 80s or 90s, when these software companies started to like, it started to like appear like Dell, IBM, etc. All these like software were not compatible, but then I would say like in the late 90s, something like that, there was like I would say like a need for this software to start like talking between them and to be more compatible, and they're like, because a user of Dell was not only for Dell, it was like a user of other brands as well. So pretty much the same scenario is happening right now in the crypto space. I would say in the blockchain space, where like users have, like they use different networks, and for that reason, like the projects like are looking for these opportunities to expand and to get new users, new use cases, new community, new tools, etc. So this is possible with Moonbeam. Moonbeam has the most powerful Ethereum compatibility, like I mentioned it before. So what that this means, many Ethereum based applications can expand to Polkadot with no changes pretty much. So this is definitely a great, point of entry for them to like expand their business, to expand their like user base, etc. And without hiring more people, without like investing time, like it's also cost efficient. So many benefits that Moonbeam's technology is able to provide. And I think like this is why more than 80 projects are already building on Moonbeam. And these are like the ones that we have like formal integrations, and announcements. But like, I mean, it's a decentralized application, so anyone can build on it. And we are seeing already like great activity, I would say like in Moon River, but we expect to see the same in Moonbeam. So that's pretty much like what Moonbeam does. That I think like at least for me is so passionate, because I think like it's something so revolutionary and great.
Yeah, that's for sure. Every week I see an announcement channel and the new partnerships, new collaboration. It's awesome, really. And who is the team behind Moonbeam? Where is your head office located geographically?
Ooh, so our team is very international, actually. So the team was first created in Boston, where I'm based, but I'm Peruvian, so I live now in Boston. But then, like the team started expanding all over the place. So we have people in Spain, we have people in China, in France, in Argentina, and even in the US. We're like located in different places: the West Coast, East Coast. So I would say I I mean, like the office is in Boston. I would say it's a space that we used to have before. Now with the pandemic, everybody's working from home. But I think like that's actually one of my favorite things about Moonbeam, how international it is and how like you learn from different cultures and different people. Moonbeam was founded by Derek Yo, so like all of you, or well, like the majority might know him, but he already has experience building successful companies in the past, and he's like, I would say, like a very visionary guy that also like has like a clear goal, and he saw this opportunity, as he say that like sometimes you find opportunities that are going to be life changes like for the industry, and he decided to create this project. And then we have also a lot of like smart people in the team, like Alan, who is the VP of technology, Katie, who is the marketing director, like like we have like people that is so talented and passionate, and I think like that has like made Moonbeam so successful as it is now.
This is cool. This is cool. Yeah, and now, um, if you are working remotely, right? I'm curious, how will you celebrate your parachain slot win?
Well, that's a good question. We actually love online happy hours. So we sometimes like get together, grab some beers, and talk about like how everything is going, which is great. But we also try to do like local meetings. Like sometimes the Boston team gets together, we go for lunch, we go for some drinks, something like that. So it's crazy how the pandemic has changed how dynamics work, even for celebrations. But that's a good question. And actually, I think like when we get a party in the slot, this celebration is going to be extended with that community, definitely. So I think that
I
that's
hope
going to
you
be
know.
very cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, waiting for this, waiting.
Yes.
And I'm personally a fan of Moonbeam project, and it's wonderful how a simple idea turned into such great outcome, and clear way of connecting different blockchains in exactly what is needed now. Yeah. So, and how did Moonbeam come up with the names Moon River and Moonbeam? This is also a nice question, I think, and I like both of them, but I'm sure there is a story behind it. Could you
Yeah,
share it, please?
sure, yeah, there is one actually. So Moonbeam, the name is inspired on the Frank Sinatra song that is called Polkadots and Moonbeams. And this is a very old song. I will say, correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be around like the 50s or the 90s
Mhm.
or the 60s that this song was released. And one part of the song, because I like it a lot, says like I always see polka dots and moonbeams, like they're always together. So I think like that's, I mean, we are in Polkadot. We are gonna be like launching the network in Polkadot. So that's how the Moonbeam name was basically that was the inspiration. And besides that, Moon River is also based on a song that is from this movie. I think it's like Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it's
Mhm.
a song that is called Moon River. So like it was also based on like pretty much like getting this old song inspiration, and then like other test nets or other networks that we have like also launch mostly on the testnet side, they have also had like some inspiration on songs. For example, Moonshadow from Cat Steven is one of them, and I'm a big fan of Cat Steven, so I was like really happy when that name was selected. But yeah, definitely a fun musical inspiration component there.
Nice taste, guys. Nice taste. So, yeah, I understood the Moon River and Moonbeam is pretty similar projects, but is there any difference between them? Can you please share?
Sure. So for people who is new to Moonbeam and pretty much to the Polkadot ecosystem, so Polkadot has like I think like it's a very smart idea of like before launching that mainnet, like have I would say like to test the code on real conditions. So this is why like Kusama was created, where like for example Moonbeam's code was deployed to Kusama, and that's Moon River, but the
Mhm.
technology, the Ethereum compatibility, the integrations, everything is the same. And now this network is already live in Kusama. We actually won a purchase slot back in, I would say like it was around June, and then the
Mhm.
network was completely launched, I would say like at the end of August or something like that. So it's been only like 2 months since Moon River has been deployed. And I mean, the team has done a fantastic work, like making all upgrades, but also like learning from so many things that happen in Moon River that I think like prepare us much better to the launch of Moonbeam.
Mhm.
So for who are new in the ecosystem, Moon River is pretty much like Moonbeam's deployment to Kusama, or you can also call it like Moonbeam's wild sister network, where where the code was tested first, but in real conditions, which means like the token has a value, integrations are real, like people can use them. So very excited with like how Moon River has gone so far and how it's doing. And I mean, I'm very excited to see the launch of Moonbeam as well.
Cool. Look, and if I understand correctly, that means that the one project can deploy for Moon River and Moonbeam in the same time, right? And be presented in the two networks, Kusama and Polkadot.
Well, yes. So Moonbeam is not live yet, so projects can't deploy to Moonbeam. But
Okay.
in the near future, yes, projects are gonna be able to deploy to Moonbeam as well as Moon River. I think like something that I wanted to clarify from the community is some people has asked me, for example, if a project wants to deploy to to Polkadot and Moonbeam,
Hmm.
do they also need to pass through Moon River? And the answer is like not necessarily. Like there are gonna be some projects that are gonna be only deploying to Moon River or only deploying to Moonbeam, and there are projects that are gonna be deploying to both. It depends also like which network I would say like relay chain they wanna be, which is or Kusama or Polkadot. But pretty much adding here to your question, we see Polkadot, sorry, Moonbeam and Moon River interacting as Polkadot and Kusama. You know, they're going to be independent networks, but pretty much the technology is going to be the same. It's going
Hmm.
to be interesting. It's already interesting to see how the Moon River community is being developed by the community. You know, like these amazing groups like the Movermen, the Moverins, and all these amazing communities that we see, and it's crazy. So
Yeah,
we see this happening with Moon River and Moonbeam as well.
very cool. Very cool. Thanks, Katie. So, um, I want to say that we have received many grateful comments regarding your support with the community and Moonbeam project. Thank you very much, Katie. And so there's also one question. Uh, as we know, Moonbeam is Ethereum compatible smart contract platform on the Polkadot network, like you mentioned, and that makes it easy to create a compatible applications. Yeah? And are there any plans for Moonbeam team to develop smart contracts compatible with other major networks such as Binance Smart Chain, Cosmos, Polygon, Solana, etc.?
So I will say that our focus right now is to focus on the Ethereum compatibility and to make sure like this works and like it's like I will say like a door for many projects to expand to Polkadot. I will not discard any other blockchains, I will say, but I don't think this is in like I would say like short or medium term plans or something that has been announced by Moonbeam or PureStake, that is the company developing Moonbeam. So I'll say like maybe we don't know. I think like the team is always looking like for new opportunities and also like like how can we provide the best experience for developers. For now, it's only focused on developers building on Ethereum and Polkadot, but I mean, who knows in the future?
Great. Look, this is interesting, yeah. And look, it's one question came up to my head. You say Moonbeam, PureStake, Moonbeam. W- Are you working in two different companies, or how it's gonna do? How it's gonna?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So PureStake is the company behind Moonbeam. The PureStake team, I'm also part of the PureStake team, but I work for Moonbeam pretty much. So I know that this can be a little confusing. So let's see it like this. Moonbeam is a project, but
Mhm.
PureStake is the company. And the foundation, there's the Moonbeam Foundation, who sees all the
Foundation.
part of like the legal, token, economic stuff. So
Mhm.
it's like pretty much like three different entities, but at the same time related because like we go towards the same goal, which is the successful of the Moonbeam network.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. And so, um, like we know, the security in blockchains is very important to store all data, to store all accounts and so on. I'm interested in how or what are the Moonbeam team doing to improve the security within the network? What's the difference between the security, for example, in Moonriver and Moonbeam? Is there any, by the way?
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good question. And it's also something that we have received, like, a common doubt from the community, which is totally valid in the blockchain space. So, as a parachain on the Polkadot and Kusama relay chains, Moonbeam and Moonriver benefit from the security and interoperability that Polkadot provides. So, pretty much like it's like something that I think like was one of the reasons of why the team decided to build on Polkadot, because I think like the security features are so important. So
Hmm.
this pretty much is also on the hands of the validators of Polkadot, and Polkadot so far has shown like a great I would say like have like such a strong security. So that's something like all parachains building on Polkadot or Kusama will like get us a benefit for being there. So I would say like it's pretty much like one of the main reasons. And yeah, I mean, just responding to the question, that Moonbeam and Moonriver security is the same, is the same code, and it's like it's getting like the benefits from the relay chain.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So good, good. And by the way, there is also one question. How do you select collators or in other words, validators for the Moonriver and Moonbeam projects. We know that the Polkadot uses the proof of stake, um, and so there should be validators and collators for staking. And can community members become a validator? And if so, then how?
Yeah, so Moonbeam, just to respond to your question, is also proof of stake, like 100%. And I mean, we're in Polkadot and Kusama, so we have to. And one was one of the like I mean, the name that
Yeah,
the pure stake company behind, it's like definitely pure.
pure stake. Yeah, correct, correct,
It's literally pure stake, guys.
for
But
sure.
yeah, so to become a collator, actually, I was asking today to the team that was talking more about this. So one, there are like some, I would say, like software and infrastructure requirements that are listed on the website. I can like share the link on the chat if you guys are interested on that. But besides that, there is like there's an amount of movers that is around, I would say, like 1,000. It can be a little bit more, a little bit
Hmm.
less. That like if you want to be a collator, you have to like bond that, and then that is gonna give you, I would say, access to start getting validations.
Hmm.
If at some point if you at some point start like getting like be on the top, I would say 52, because right now we have 52 collators in the active set, then you become part of the active set. But I mean, like, it's a decentralized network, and it's also permissionless. So the answer is like yes, like you can be a collator, but I mean there are going to be a list of requirements, I would say, in the infrastructure side, but also like how many people is nominating you to be able to be on the
On the top
active
52.
set.
Yeah,
Exactly, that right now I think it's 52. At some point I think like this active set is going to grow to, like, I would say, like 64 or something like that.
64. Okay. Yeah, obviously the network is growing, so the probably you need more collators.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
also to keep decentralization, I think like it's very important. So I think like that it's on the best interest of the network to like increase the number of collators so we can also be more decentralized.
cool. Yeah, thanks. So then, let's lightly move to the next big topic, the crowd loans. Katie, this subject is currently on everyone's lips, and this is a great and very important event, and everybody is very excited about it. So, like how the Moonbeam and when becomes the parachain slot, and uh, there is a lot of, to be honest, questions around all this process. So, could you please tell us about this process more? Crowd loan itself, how does it work? Why is it so important for Moonbeam?
Yeah, so I think like to talk about crowd loans, we need to understand what are the paraching actions. So let me just give like a quick intro to what this is, and then we can go more into detail of how this works. So paraching actions are starting this Thursday, November 11th. So it's like literally coming in 2 days, which is crazy. It's gonna be the first paraching action in Polkadot. There are gonna be actually five in the next, I would say, like 5 weeks. The dates are published on Polkadot. But what happens during these actions in Polkadot? Parachains who want to get a slot in Polkadot compete, and they start like bidding. And the higher bidder is gonna be the parachain that will get the slot.
Hmm.
But what happens usually in this part, like I would say, like no parking actions in actions in general, like let's just like take the eBay model. It's like Yuri like bet 10 and then I bet 15. If I was the highest bet at the and bid at the end, then I get the perch, whatever I want to get. So like
Yep.
to avoid this bidding to be the highest at the end,
Yeah.
Porkel decided to create a little different system. So
Uh-huh.
I'll go there later in the call, because I know that we're gonna get there. So like Moonbeam, they're like Moonbeam is participating to get a slot in Polkadot,
Yep.
and we are participating through a crowdloan. So the Moonbeam Foundation is hosting a crowdloan, for Moonbeam for getting the funds to cover this slot and this lease, because when you like get the funds, pretty much like all these funds are gonna go to cover the cost of a lease of a parking slot for 96 weeks, because it's not that
Hmm.
like, oh, you get this slot and you are forever in Polkadot. No, like it has
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a duration of 96 weeks, which I think like is smart, because like after these 96 weeks, this slot need to be like or renewed, or like if the project wasn't successful, then that will give a space to another project to be there, which is, I think it's very smart. This is a little different.
How many slots we have, by the way, in
Oh,
Moonbeam
so
or
the
in
first the
Polkadot?
first actions are gonna be for 5 slots, but I think like in total there are gonna be like 100 slots
Mm.
that need to be covered. Yeah.
So only 100 slots. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in Kusama is the same. I think like Kusama is already like doing like more actions and more power chains are able to release and to
Hmm.
launch their projects. So one, I would say like something that is very important to understand is the leasing period for people who was, following the Kusama actions. The leasing period in Kusama are 48 weeks, while the leasing period of a slot in Polkadot are 96 weeks. So I think like
Hmm.
this is very important for the community to understand, because when you contribute to a crowd loan, you're going to be locking your tokens, your dots for 96 weeks. So pretty much like this crowd loan, it's gonna help Moonbeam to get a slot to launch to Polkadot and to bring this amazing ecosystem, and like bring a lot of activity users. So that's why it's such a milestone for us, and that's why we're so excited about this.
Okay, cool. And what happens to every participant party after the project wins or does not win a parachain slot on Polkadot? It's going to mainnet, and if they don't get the parachain slot, means that the all dots or Kusama, not for let's stick to the Polkadot dots, will be coming back, right, to the contributor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So if the parchain, let's say like you participate in the Moonbeam crowd loan and Moonbeam gets a parchain slot, as soon as Moonbeam is declared the winner, the crowd loan campaign will end. So
Hmm.
everybody who contributed before that campaign ends will get rewards. In the
Hmm.
case that Moonbeam doesn't get a parchain slot, that I don't think that's going to be the case. Like at the end of the campaign will be December 16, one day before the parchains launch to Polkadot, or start their launch process, better said. And then tokens, your dots are gonna come back to you. And I think like
Hmm.
there's like something very important to mention here is that there are like different ways of contributing to the crowd loan. One of the ways is that directly through the Moonbeam Foundation DApp, and this
Hmm.
has like this like crowd loan palette, which is like very important because
Hmm.
um, I think like decentralization and security are like two big components during all these crowd loans, and mostly because it's a decision that you have to make. Like 96 weeks locking your dots is it's a a long period.
It's a
So
pretty long period, 2 years.
I mean, yeah, and it's totally understandable. So the cool thing about like the Polkadot Crowdloan palette is that you lock your tokens, but the project can't have any access to the token. So it's not like the Moonbeam
Mm.
Foundation and the Moonbeam team can grab a little bit, to do this. No, it's like totally on like control of Polkadot. It's decentralized.
Hmm.
It's like totally transparent, and these funds can only be used.
So you don't
Um,
even have access to these dots.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. They can only be used to contribute to the parching actions, and you can see them in like I think like Polkadot.js, you can see, and parchains.info, you can see also like how the crowdloans are going. But like I think like that's an important feature that I like to share about like the Polkadot crowdloan palette.
Thank you very much, Katie. So, and I know that the crowdloan process is not so simple, yeah, as just dot contribution. Like you mentioned, there is an auction, it's called candle auction. So
Mhm.
it means like it's not the highest amount of dot receiver will win the slot, right? There is also some candle auction. Can you please explain how it works? What is
Yeah,
this exactly?
sure. So actually, I came prepared for that question because there's like a very cool blog that the Moonbeam team shared. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, we are.
Awesome. So, one, if you go to the Moonbeam.network site and then you go to blog, you're going to see a lot of educational resources that the Moonbeam team has put here. And one of them, and one of my favorites, is this one that is called How Polkadot Parachain Actions Work. So, let me just go to the graphic here that will help me explain this concept. So, just to give some background here and a little bit of history, I think like it was around the 1600. I might be wrong on the time though, but that like there was like this action system called the candle action. So what do this means? Like to pretty much like avoid that the highest bid is at the end and everybody is waiting until the last day to to make the surprise and I'm gonna go
Mhm.
all in here. There was this system called the candle action. So what this
Mhm.
means, it's like they will put a candle there, light up, and then randomly the candle at some point will go to like like turn off, and nobody knows when that was going to happen. So that will pretty much like I would say like encourage teams to bid at the start, so because you never know when it's gonna be the end date or time when this light is
Candle.
gonna turn off. Exactly. So pretty much like Polkadot like grab the same system. Of course, it's not that like Polkadot has a candle in their office or something like that. This is all based on like an algorithm. But how does this work? So you have the parting actions that last 7 days. Each parting action is going to have the same
And we
duration.
have five of them, right?
Exactly. The first one
Yeah.
is starting on November 11. But then like it's gonna finalize 7 days after, and then the other one will start, and like that are gonna be like five paraching actions in a row that are gonna be the first slots for parachings that want to launch to Polkadot. So
Mhm.
you have these 7 days periods. The day one and day two are the safe periods or start period. What do this means? It's pretty much like the random selected date and time is not going to be selected from these days.
Mhm.
From day 3 to day 7, the race starts because any date and time can be selected. One of the things that I wanted to clarify is that the winner is always going to announce at the end, of like day 7. But this, I will say, like candle system will select a random date and time. So in this example is day 5. If
Mhm.
you can see, the purple parachain was the one who was the higher bidder at the end of the actions. But even like that, because the random selected date and time was on day 5 and the purple parachain wasn't winning, was the turquoise one, then the turquoise parachain is the one who will get the slot and will be the winner and will be able to launch to Polkadot in this case. So this
Mhm.
is yeah, so that's why like I think like it's very important to mention, like if you really want to contribute to your favorite project, if you really want to help Moonbeam to launch, it's better to do it during day 1, day 2, which means November 11, November 12 for the next power chain actions that are starting. So on that end, you make sure that like your contribution is really supporting Moonbeam. And if like for
And
example,
pushes it to top, right? And just help it to stay on the top for the next days. Okay, good.
exactly, exactly. Because, like, I mean, if you, for example, you contribute on day 3, day 7, like, you're still gonna get rewards in the crowd loan because the crowd loan campaign is still gonna be open. But, for example, if you contribute on day 7, your contribution is not really gonna help the power chain,
On
to
other
get
days.
this
Yeah,
lot.
I see it. Yeah.
Exactly. I hope that graphic
Okay.
helps. I like a lot that article that explains this with like a history there. So, I mean, I can share the link in the chat as well if you guys wanna give it a look.
For sure, please share it. Good.
There we go.
Wow, yeah, it's really not so easy just to contribute dots and think that the most biggest pool win the parachute slot. No, no, no. Yeah, good. Do you know what confused me, to be honest? That as we know, the beginning of the parachain, like you say, is officially on November 11th, right? But it's not very clear why projects are already accepting contributions. If it's only starts in 2 days, why the whole process already opened? What is behind it? Can you please explain?
So I would say like so on Friday, Polkadot opened the registrations for parachains to start their
Hmm.
crowd loans, and I think like it was like in purpose that like parachains can already open their crowd loans to start like getting the funds that they need. I think with like Kusama, it was something similar. The crowd loans were open before the parachain
Like
actions
warm
started.
up time, yeah? When it's officially still open.
I mean, like when you are contributing directly, I would say like it's already the crowd loan that is open. I know that there are like another exchanges that even like started before the crowd loans were able
Mm.
to, be able to register in Polkadot, and that is what they are calling warm up period. So I didn't
Mhm.
want to use the term just not to confuse the community. um, you can participate now on the Moonbeam Crowdloan. It's open, it's accepting contributions, and I think like you are in an early stage now, which is great. So this means like if you contribute now, your contribution is really gonna support the launch of Moonbeam, if we get a parking slot. But I mean, like just like check for each schedule if you want to support your project. Like always, try to do it in an early stage.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We will know this. Um, okay, and you're mentioning about the exchanges, which is, for example, started even on like warm-up period called. Could could there be an advantage for crowd loan participants who contribute their effect dots through the native Moonbeam dApp, for example, and compared to exchanges and wallets?
So I would say that like each way of participating has its own particularities. For example, I mean, like you can check the fees. You know, the exchanges will charge you against like participating directly. But there are also like exchanges that are offering bonuses. It's also
Hmm.
like if you are a user from exchange and you want to participate and get rewards and everything from one place, that is also beneficial. So I think like the reason why there are like so many ways to participate now on the Moonbeam Crowdloan compared to Moon River, that there were like a good amount of ways, but I think like now we're getting like more support from exchanges and
Yeah,
wallets and
that's
what,
true.
which is amazing. It's also like a good way of giving participants more ways to participate. So there are like gonna be different conditions. I've heard that like some exchanges also have a different minimum. For example, the minimum contribution set by parity is $5. So if you
Hmm.
want to participate, for example, through the Moonbeam app, you have to like at least contribute with $5. I think like some exchanges don't have this requirement. Some of them will meet different, some of them will like charge you fees, like it's different. So my best advice here is like to check our website. I'm gonna like put it on the chat as well. Check, I think like if you scroll down on the bottom part, you're gonna be able to see all the ways of participating. And if you are a
Hmm.
user of exchange, you know, check the conditions, check what they're offering you. If you want to participate directly from the Moving Foundation, that it is available as well. So I mean, you guys have more options to participate.
Like we are all the time saying, do your own research.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
thank
recommended.
yeah, thank you very much. Okay, good. And do you know when, for example, the Moonbeam wins the parachute slot? When is the Moonbeam mainnet approximately scheduled to launch?
That's a very good question. So, for people that participated in the Kusama Parking actions in the
Hmm.
first batch of like the first five actions, it was like you get a slot and you deploy. In this case, it's a little
Hmm.
bit different. Like it's like you get a slot, but you are not going to be the first one deploying. All the five parchains that will get
Ah,
slots will
so you
deploy on
wait
the
until
same day.
the end of the whole
Exactly.
five parachains. Okay.
Exactly. So the last part, I would say not the last, but the fifth paraching action from like the first group is gonna end on December 16th. So Moonbeam is planned to launch on December 17th. So that's why here my message is like for Moonbeam, the most important thing is to launch. Like we can't wait to launch. It's like
Yeah, I
just
can
like
imagine.
something that has us so excited. So I think that's the most important thing right now and something that we are all looking forward to.
And yes, very cool. And that's very good that you have possibility already tried this mainnet launching using the Moon River. Yeah. So for you, like you said, if the projects are have a very similarity architecture, it means that it should be easy and smooth deployment for you on Moonbeam. Very cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to add something here because
Sure.
for people that was familiar with the launch process on Moon River has had a launch process of 5 phases, including phase
Mhm.
zero. That was when the Genesis token was created. So the Moon River experience has like teach the Moonbeam team, and like in general, has all teach us so many things that the Moonbeam launch process is going to be different. It's going to have only 3 phases, including
Mhm.
phase zero. So we're expecting the launch process to be shorter, but we don't know how much shorter. I would say like Moon River took around like I think like it was a little bit more of like 8 weeks, if I'm not wrong.
Mhm.
Um, for the Moonbeam launch, we expect a little bit shorter. I don't have exactly how many weeks it's gonna take, but I mean it's gonna be only 3 phases. And why should the community care? Because that means that like people who contributes to the crowd loan, it's also gonna get 30% of their rewards as soon as
Okay.
that launch process is completed.
And the launch process is completed. Okay, good. Okay, so and um, mhm. Probably you already answered for the question when will Glimmer token to be distributed. Then I will ask a little bit different. Will the crowd loan participants and sale participants for the Glimmer token becoming their token at the same time?
So it's a little bit different
Okay.
because so let me just talk about how are going to be rewards distribution in for the crowd loan participants. So
Hmm.
if you participate in the Moonbeam crowd loan, you're going to get 30% of your rewards
Hmm.
as soon as the launch of Moonbeam
Launch
is
finished.
completed. Which means when you see the announcement, balance transfers and EVM is are enabled. That means okay, I'm going to get
Ah.
my rewards. Great. That means like completion of phase three. Um, and then the 70% of the additional rewards will be vested linearly block by block
To the
basis,
end.
96
96.
weeks. So what do this means? What means like block by block basis? Every time that a block is produced, you are going to be able to claim more rewards.
If you
So
contributed, participated in Kusama, it's the same system. You
exactly.
even can see like its life increasing.
Exactly. The only difference is like the vesting period, like 48 weeks
Longer.
versus 96 is longer in this case. So that's the thing if you contribute through the crowdloan. If you participated in Take Flight, there was that token event that we did. I would say like it was
Mhm.
like a couple of months ago. It feels like it was
So
long.
like from like last year, yes.
Right?
All
Yeah.
all the time in crypto like increases 10 times. Like you're
I know. I
it's
feel
for
like
sure.
how can this happen like 2 months ago? It was like definitely longer.
I was much younger.
Yeah, right.
Probably had hairs before.
Oh, you look great.
Thanks.
So if you participated in Take Flight, you're gonna get your tokens, the tokens that you purchase, 100% of the tokens that you purchase, 40
Mhm.
days after the completion of the launch process. So that means
Mm,
when we announce phase three has been completed and like balance transfers and EVM are enabled, you have to wait 40 days,
40
and then
days.
you're gonna get the 100% of
So,
what you purchase.
so got it. So guys who contributed through the crowd loan will become their tokens earlier. So this is 30%, 30% to get good. Thank you very much. I think
Yeah,
this is very
for
important
sure.
information. So yeah, like I told, I wish you a smooth mainnet launch, guys. We'll be taking fees for you. So let's talk about then another big topic, partnership.
Mhm.
I mean, like I told before, like every week see a new announcement and about partnerships, deployments, integration. Someone built on Moonbeam, someone deploying using Moonbeam. Um, by the way, how many projects you already told us? It's like around 80 for now, right?
More than 80.
Last week it was 70. Last week
Literally.
it was 70, and today it's 80. It's incredibly. So, but this is really amazing. And can you tell us about some of these projects and what advantage will they get in collaboration with Moonbeam?
Sure. So I wanted to start with mentioning what I mentioned at the start too. Like I feel like Moonbeam's Ethereum compatibility, which is very unique and like I would say like it's the most powerful right now in Polkadot,
Mhm.
is also
For
the
sure.
reason why we have this amazing ecosystem, because a lot of projects, and I would just like I remember when Derek was telling us like at the start of Moonbeam, non-project wanted to really like listen to Moonbeam, and they were like, oh, I don't think like expansion is going to be necessary. I'm fine, I'm stay here in this network, etc. But then when they saw like this need of like, yes, we need to like reach to new users, we need to like increase our use cases, we need to like like get like more developers, like access to a new community, is when like Moonbeam started getting more attention. And I think like that technology provided has also opened the world to like access Polkadot, the Polkadot ecosystem, the Polkadot community, the Kusama community. So that's the reason why you see the Moonbeam ecosystem growing. And yeah, like last week we were literally saying 70 plus projects, and then I was like, wait, we are already 80
Yes.
tabs, you know.
I
So
wanted to write 70, then I check it. No, 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 it's already 80.
it's
It's really amazing.
exactly. So it's changing, and I would say like some of like the most popular projects that people is gonna be familiar with are, for example, Etherscan, that
Mhm,
it's integrated right now in Moonriver and it supports the Moonriver network. In the future, we expect to like also do the same with Moonbeam. It's Sushi, for example, that is already
smart.
live, but that is like working on like a liquidity like program also as well. So like I think like there are like a lot of like new use cases for people that wants to use Sushi's DeFi features. There's
Mhm,
also the graph for developers. You know, there are like so many amazing projects in the future. So we already announced an integration with Lido, for example, but in the future we're
mhm,
expecting to see Lido fully integrated in with with Moonbeam, and so like people will be accessing also that what Lido is offering. So I would say like the ecosystem doesn't stop growing. And I think I repeated this phrase already like three times in different events, but it's one of my favorite phrases from like the ecosystem team is that for every project that they have reached out that or the project that reach out to them saying like we are building on Moon River, there was another project that we had no idea that it's also building on Moon River. So it's crazy how this ecosystem grows and
I
grows.
get it.
Yeah, and actually yesterday we announced a collaboration with the State of the Dapps. That is, at
Mhm.
least I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm not sure, but please tell us.
Yeah, so a State of the Dapps is pretty much like a place where like all the dapps can be listed, and they say
Mhm,
like we build on Moon River. So we announced this collaboration yesterday. They like from all the projects listed on Moon River, there were like I think like only 8 that would like complete the submission process. And I was
mhm.
checking today, and there are already more than 20. So it's like less than a day that we announced this collaboration, and projects are already getting listed there.
It's very cool. I think there will be more even projects when you officially will get an purchase slot. Okay. Um, is there any, by the way, selection criteria for the project that wants to deploy on Moonriva or Moonbeam? Do you have any of them? Probably compatible with with EVM machine, right?
So I would say like any Ethereum based project that wants to like expand their user database is like
Mm-hmm.
welcome to build in Moonbeam and Moonriver. Both, I mean, Moonbeam is not launched yet, but Moonriver is permissionless, is decentralized, is open source, which means like any project can build there. But like if they wanna like do a collaboration with us, we definitely see we evaluate like one, it makes sense for the ecosystem, it's really gonna add value, it's something that the
Mm-hmm.
developers need, it's a new very cool tool on it, or it's gonna help in our infrastructure. So I think like those are like some of the criteria that our like team that of partners and like ecosystem development has always seen. They prioritize quality instead of quantity in every
Mm-hmm.
decision they made, and I think like that has paid off very well, and now we have a very strong ecosystem of integrations.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so very cool, Katie. I know that the project organized different events, like, for example, hackathons to attract developers, and new ideas, new services, and help to grow in the ecosystem itself. And are there any plans to organize such events or like similar like to hackathons to attract new teams and expand to products and services that will, for example, you Moonbeam use in the future?
Yeah, for sure. So Moonbeam is always looking for these like hackathon opportunities or
Mhm.
event opportunities to participate. We also have an amazing group of ambassadors, you included there, Yuri, that are always organizing like these type of events to educate the community. Like we are like also working on with a technical team, so we can do more like technical, related stuff. But at the same time, we also have two programs that are currently running that are monthly programs. One is called Moon Builders Workshop that are it's a program dedicated for developers. So if you go
Mhm.
to our crowdcast, you will see that this is like it's in a monthly basis. So we bring partners or like projects that are building on us to like showcase their integrations on Moon River. So if you wanna try, new tools or new integrations or see or just learn more about like Moonbeam and its ecosystem, you guys are welcome to learn. But this is like very, I would say, like technical heavy content
Mhm.
and dedicated to developers developers. But we also have another program. It's called Moonbeam Universe, and this is for end users. So this is a program that I like a lot because it's for the community and made by that community. So this means that the Moonbeam team is not actually like in the screen. Are our senior ambassadors who are the ones who interview these projects, and they pretty much like try to get all the information so people knows like, oh, how can I use my mover tokens,
Mhm.
how what
Ah,
other things that I can do with Moon River. So this program is meant for that. Actually, our next guest is going to be the My Wish team, and I think that this is happening next week. And then for Moon Builders, our next guest is going to be Subquery. So that's
subqueries in it is going to cool.
Yes. So they are going to be, I think it's like the first week of December. Moon Builders is every first Wednesday of the month, and Moonbeam Universe is more flexible. We have different dates.
Moonbeam Universe. Okay, cool. I have to really check. Shame on me, but I have to really check Moonbeam Universe. I hear about it first time. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for this
Sure.
information. Um, we talked about the project in Crowdloan already, and so maybe now we can talk about the ambassador program. Katie,
Mm.
what do you think? It's been already a while since the beginning of the Moonbeam ambassador program. Maybe you could share more details about it. Uh, there's very often question, what is the main idea of ambassador program? Which, yeah, and there is also, is the project still actively accepting application for the program? This is like very often asked question.
Yeah, so first, thank you to all the ambassadors that are with us today. I see like, hellos popping up on the chat, which is great. Our ambassador program is still open. It's still accepting applications for anyone that wants to like work closely to with the working with the Moonbeam team, and that also like believes in this multi-chain future that we are all building together, because the success of the project, like you guys, all the ambassadors have been like a key component about it, and just like expanding the word everywhere in different languages, that it's just amazing to see. So if you want to be part of this program, you don't need to have like technical knowledge. You can be or technical or non-technical. There are like multiple ways that you can contribute. But I think like the opportunity to be in the ambassador program is also be part in of an international community. So as you know, Yuri, like there is people from all around the world. So you talk from people in, I don't know, like in Latin America, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, like everywhere, so it's crazy to see. It's a great opportunity to connect with other people, and it's also like a great opportunity to develop some skills. So we have some senior ambassadors that are making this kind of events like Yuri's like making right now. We have other senior ambassadors that are participating in like external events. We have senior ambassadors that are developing like new communities, and ambassadors are being part of this. So it's amazing to see. It's a program that I like a lot, and like you said, it has less than a year. It was launched in, I think it was like the first weeks of December last year.
First
So
weeks of December, right? Yeah.
yeah, so it's pretty new, and like you said, like guys, like this
This is
is,
like already, yeah. But
I
the
mean,
feeling that this was all the time.
exactly. And I mean, this is just the beginning. Like Moonbeam is just going to land, and after that, we have a bright roadmap. So we're gonna need support there.
About this funny time gap in crypto, that's why we are becoming such question, is this ambassador program is still open? Because people think that it's already open more years, many years, sorry. So yes, guys, it's still open, and it's a big honor to become a part of ambassadors and community for the Moonbeam.
Yeah. And just like wanted to share some numbers here, so
Oh,
like,
please.
so right now we have more than 1,700 ambassadors. We have more than 15 community created based on language. So that means, like, for example, Spanish has a lot of like countries in it, and we have like ambassadors making great things. Like that communities that I see are consistent. They update. They make translations. Like they are like always helping over other new ambassadors, apprentices with the onboard. They are taking like so many things in the community, and during this crowd loan, like crazy exciting times,
Yeah.
like it's amazing to see how ambassadors are all over the place on Discord, Telegram, responding questions, helping the community. So if you're interested in being part of like this amazing group of people, you are more than welcome to apply to the ambassador program. I'm going to leave the link on the chat.
Super, thank you. So probably you already answered the question, but still, if let's mention, are there requirements and conditions to become an ambassador still the same, or if have changed, then how?
So all the information about the ambassador program is on the link that I sent, and so you can see like some conditions and like what are like pretty much the requirements. But I will say like if you are passionate about Polkadot and Moonbeam, Polkadots and Moonbeams again, the song, you are more than welcome to participate and learn more. You don't need to be an expert in Moonbeam. Actually, the ambassador
We can
program.
learn, we can teach you.
Exactly, exactly. Like senior ambassadors are doing a great job onboarding, new members. But I think like something that we see the most is like, oh, this person really likes Moonbeam, and we see a lot of potential here where like we can like do amazing things together. So I would say like it's a very flexible, very amazing program. If you want to meet more people that has same passions that you do with like Polkadot and Moonbeam, you are more than welcome to participate.
Okay, thanks. So, um, probably you already also answered the next question. How can ambassadors support Moonbeam? Yeah, like in any kind of support, you can make an memes, you can do the content, you can be patient about have patient about the Moonbeam by translate articles, right? Even you can make your own articles. You can help a team to conduct an AMAS, for example, like this. Maybe I missed something. What kind of task can they complete, by the way?
So I would say like think more like in the tasks of, for example, what do you think that Moonbeam needs, right? So like we have, for example, some ambassadors that when like Moon River was new, they were like, I want to write more about what is Moon River, and I want to like do it in like few words and something easy to understand for like people that is not technical, just an idea. So like it's pretty much like anything that you think that can contribute to the program. So just like based on what you mentioned, yes, there are like content that we need help with. There are some translations currently, like some of the communities have already a lot of people translating it, so it's not something that we are doing on all the communities, but there are some communities that still need help on that end. Then we have, for example, events. If you want to like host local community events, or you want to do like this event, like a digital event where like you can talk more about Moonbeam, or like educate the community or spread the word about Moonbeam, uh, you guys are also welcome to do this. If you want to create more like Twitter threads or explain what is Moonbeam, how to participate in the crowdloan, etc., that's something that you can also do in multiple channels. So we have a mission task guidelines for all new apprentices and ambassadors who want to join us. And I think like we are always there. It's me, but it's also like this amazing group of senior ambassadors and already like high performance ambassadors who are like helping to onboard new people in that community. So
So
there,
guys,
like, yeah, there are a lot of resources. I think we have it all over Discord, I guess.
just do not hesitate. Go to the Discord channel. Just ask what I can do. What there is steps yeah, to for example complete or uh, yeah, how to complete the tasks to become the ambassador title. Okay. Yeah. So, and by the way, a good question also. While will the ambassador program continue after the Moonbeam wins a purchasing slot? The question is probably for sure yes, but how can then an ambassador help Moonbeam after winning a slot?
That's a
What?
very good question. So that launch is just like the first milestone, but then we
Yes.
have all this ecosystem development, liquidity programs, like there are like new, like for probably features that the network will have. So like I would say like we still need to like get into like new communities. Some communities are still small, so they need like more help from more ambassadors that will help. We There are like multiple ways of like helping. I think like it's gonna depend more on like what's the hot topic in that moment for the network. But like as you mentioned, like this is just the start. So we have so many announcements coming up of future integrations and future things that are gonna have that there's definitely gonna be a lot of things to do.
I want to add also something from my side. I'm like a senior ambassador, and I want to tell you guys that what I was open for me when I become the senior ambassador, that there is a really good possibility to do initiatives. So if you have an idea, you can prepare it, share it with the team, and if it's a really nice idea, you can do it. You will become a green light, and you can start to do your own initiative. So this is like like a very good possibility to also contribute to the project from your side.
Yeah, exactly. And we love to empower the ambassadors, to like go and like create new initiatives, like you said. So we have so many communities that have been built just like by ambassadors, for example, getting together and say, like, okay, we want to open a community. We're going to start with Telegram. They created a Telegram group. I just like help with the community guidelines. And then like they were like organizing themselves, like, okay, you're going to be moderator. Then they recruit more ambassadors. We're ready to open a Twitter channel in this language, and they do it. And now we're ready to open YouTube. There are some communities that already have Twitter, Medium, Telegram, YouTube, and they are like making all this amazing work and keeping always up to date with like the new releases that we do from our side. And I think like one of like the biggest milestones that we had from the ambassador community, besides all the support and the moderation that they give to the community, is the translation of our documentation site, which is now available in Chinese, in Spanish, in Russian, in French, besides English, and there are like some communities that are already translating all the documentation side, and like we probably can't move it right now to a doc site because we're like a busy time, but they are putting all this content on mediums, so you see that they are like creating this content that is like also reaching out to new users in their local communities, because of course it's nice to see content in your language. So if you want to spread
For
the
sure.
word about like crypto, Polkadot, Moonbeam, or you are more than welcome to participate.
Great. Thank you very much. Cool. So, um, I think this is all about the investor program, guys. Yeah, we are very interested to hear what happened after the launch of Moonbeam on the Polkadot network, and we are probably expecting to see like more and more deployments on Moonbeam. So maybe you can talk about how Moonbeam team sees the near future of the project. So what's your plans, guys? We see the new trends, by the way, appeared to collaborate with community. For example, academies. Probably you heard about that, but you mentioned that you have kind of Moonbeam universe where the people can also teach. Um, and yeah, and other, for example, any program plans to be implemented for future stimulate the growth of the Moonbeam community. Do you have?
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna continue with community programs that will like expand the word about Moonbeam and will like also educate the community about like how to use Moonbeam resources, but also like how, for example, right now we have some blog posts available of what to do with your mover tokens. If you are a
Mhm.
mover token holder, but if you are more like a developer and want to know how to like integrate very cool dApps from Ethereum, and you are like now in Polkadot, you can do that based on Moonbeam. So we have a documentation site where you can find all this information, and our idea is to like get this information. We're trying to like always post on Twitter, so like we make sure that people know, so we have these resources available. The plan is to continue doing this, but I think like most important than the content is also what is coming with Moonbeam's roadmap. So after the
Mhm.
launch, after the completion to the launch, we are excited to see how the ecosystem will develop, how these integrations and partners that, or what would say projects building now in Moonbeam, sorry, in Moon River,
Mhm.
are also gonna deploy to Moonbeam. So I think like the ecosystem development is one of the things that has me more excited about. Since, for example, I. I like to say like Moonbeam will light up the Polkadot ecosystem with so many integrations. It's not just Moonbeam; it's an amazing ecosystem, and it's gonna be crazy the activity there. So
This
excited.
is like, yeah, this is like a door for the all Ethereum projects to the new ecosystem,
Oh
for
yes,
sure.
exactly. And I think like after that, one of the things that I was like discussing with one of my coworkers today in the morning is about like these interoperability use cases that are gonna happen after the launch is of the power chains. I would say in Polkadot, and when like more power chains start populating the relay chain, is like like I think like one of the things that could like will happen in like the, I would say, medium term, it's gonna be the asset transfers,
That's a transfer. Okay.
exactly. So I think like that's gonna be cool. And then in the future, I think like it's gonna be cool because like projects building on Polkadot or in Moonbeam are also gonna be able to get some of the features from other parachains, you know. So I think like this
Mm,
interoperability component that Polkadot has and that Moonbeam shares, because it's one of like the, I would say like principles of Moonbeam and Moonriver design. Interoperability is one of them. I think that that's gonna be very interesting to see the collaboration with other projects, and just like I think like the goal of Moonbeam is always gonna be to give the best possible experience for developers. So this is based on also giving them the best tools. So I think like that's something that we are definitely looking forward, and yeah, so exciting things are going to happen. I saw some questions about liquidity programs. I don't have the details about like exactly what liquidity programs are going to be
mhm.
in Moonbeam, but the team is definitely working about that. And I mean, I think like you mentioned before, this is just the start, and there's like a bright future coming, you know, after Moonbeam's launch.
So we are all believe in Moonbeam for sure. So, okay, that's what we're talking about the middle term. And do you have any plans for 2 3 years? How you probably it's c- pretty long time, but maybe you can share with us some project plans or roadmap of ecosystem.
Yeah, so I would say like expect some, like I would say like expect the same activity as you have seen in Moon River so far. Just like share some stats of like Moon River right now. Moon River has almost 5 million of transactions in the network, which is amazing. In
Definitely.
only like 2 months of it like launch, it has like more than 160,000. I think like it's even more right now, like of wallets, you know, in the network. It has like it has a great activity. It has a lot of integration. So we're expecting to see the same on Moonbeam, since like I think like Moon River has already like teach us so many lessons that will make Moonbeam's deployment much more, you know,
Mhm.
I would say like probably not faster, but who knows, probably yes, but I think like also will make it is helping us so much to like be ready, you know, to be ready for Moonbeam. So I think like in the next 2 years, like you said, it's gonna be one, how the ecosystem is gonna develop. Two, the features and interoperability components that are going to happen in Polkadot. But also
Mhm.
something it's very interesting is like, and I want to see that, is like how the Moon River and Moonbeam networks are going to continue developing, you know, because we see Moonbeam and Moon River as Polkadot and Kusama. They are like sister networks, but they at the same time are kind of like
I'm really
independent.
also curious how this will
Exactly.
go.
Exactly. So excited to see that, I think.
That's great. Thanks. So we are really excited to see the future of Moonbeam and want to support and be part of it, of course. For sure, it's not possible, guys, to cover all the question for such short periods of time. But thank you everybody for participating, and we want to conclude. Katie, maybe you want to share some messages and final thoughts with ambassador communities and people who want to join the community, please.
Sure. Yeah. So first, thank you so much for the support. It makes me so excited to see that all day. It's like it brightens my day, and it brightens the day of like the Moonbeam team who sees like the support, positive messages, the ambassador community supporting, you know, new members of the community. So thank you for that. Thank you for the activity on the Crowdloan. We can see all the number of contributions. Like it's amazing to see how many people really believes in Moonbeam. I will say like the Moonbeam launch is an amazing milestone that is going to happen, because as I mentioned before, it's not only going to be Moonbeam deploying to Polkadot, are going to be more than 80 integrations lighting up the Polkadot ecosystem and bringing thousands of new users, you know, to Polkadot. So I think there's a lot to be excited for. And just to echo your message, if you guys have any other questions about the ambassador program, about the crowdloan, etc., we have channels on Discord, we have Telegram, we have also an official Telegram channels in other languages if you want to like, you know, reach out to the communities. So there are like so many ways that you can reach out to the Moonbeam team, and we love to be close to our community, and we're gonna respond all the questions that you guys have. So thank you for having me today.
Beautiful, Katia. Thank you for being our special guest tonight and for your continuous support. And hey, you who watching this video, those if you're still not an ambassador in such great project as Moonbeam, this door is still open. Don't miss it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the invitation, Yuri.
You're a pleasure. So have a great time of the day wherever you are. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Bye.
Bye.